First Contact's price. The Marianas Trench Research Station shuddered as another earthquake rippled through the abyssal plain. Dr. Sarah Chen gripped her console, watching as the depth readings fluctuated wildly on her holoscreen. 11 kilometers down, the research station's reinforced walls groaned under pressure that could crush a nuclear submarine like an empty soda can. Control, we're getting some unusual readings from Section 7. She reported, fingers flying across the haptic interface. The seismic activity seems to be concentrated around that new anomaly we detected last week. Copy that, Dr. Chen. Control responded, their voice crackling through the station's comm system. But you know the protocol. We're not authorized to investigate anything beyond our current depth range. Sarah bit her lip, studying the readings. After 3 years of researching deep-sea thermal vents, she'd never seen anything like this. The anomaly was perfectly geometric, a massive rectangular structure buried beneath millions of years of sediment. More importantly, it was emitting an energy signature that defied every known law of physics. With all due respect to protocol, Sarah said, already reaching for her deep-sea suit, I didn't spend my life studying the abyss to ignore the discovery of the century. The next 12 hours became a blur of careful preparation and calculated risks. Sarah modified one of their deep-sea drones, pushing its pressure tolerance beyond safety limits. As she guided it through the crushing darkness, her heart nearly stopped when the drone's lights illuminated something impossible. A metallic hull, its surface covered in symbols that were definitely not human in origin. My God, she whispered, zooming in on what appeared to be an airlock. The metal showed no signs of corrosion despite its age, and as the drone's sensors swept across its surface, something extraordinary happened. The symbols began to glow with a soft blue light. The drone's communications suddenly crackled with interference. A new signal, powerful enough to penetrate 11 kilometers of ocean, began broadcasting on all frequencies. Sarah's translation software went into overdrive, trying to decode the alien language. When the first coherent message came through, she felt the blood drain from her face. Secondary defense system activated. Human genetic profile detected. Initiating emergency protocols. The ocean floor lit up like daybreak as massive floodlights activated along the hull's length, revealing not just a ship, but a warship larger than any human vessel ever constructed. Streams of bubbles erupted from its sides as ancient pumps began purging water from its chambers. Control, are you seeing this? Sarah's voice trembled with excitement and fear. But Control never had a chance to respond. The research station's sensors blazed with warnings as multiple objects entered Earth's atmosphere at impossible speeds. On screens worldwide, news channels interrupted their broadcasts to show footage of massive ships dropping out of hyperspace, their designs as alien as the ones Sarah had just discovered. A transmission cut through every communication device on Earth, its message clear and threatening. To the inhabitants of Sol 3, you have activated restricted military technology belonging to the Galactic Federation. Surrender the warship immediately or face planetary quarantine. Sarah stared at her screens, realizing that humanity's first contact with alien life wasn't going to be a celebration. It was going to be a fight for survival. The warship beneath her feet represented technology that could either save Earth or condemn it. As emergency alarms blared through the station, Sarah made a decision that would alter the course of human history. She activated her suit's sealed communication system and began downloading every scrap of data from the alien ship's active systems. If Earth was going to survive what was coming, they needed to understand what they'd just awakened. The ship's AI responded to her actions, its ancient systems recognizing something in her genetic code that even Sarah didn't understand. As she worked, more messages scrolled across her screen. Primary systems restoration initiated. Detecting compatible pilot. Genetic profile matches Guardian protocols. Sarah had no idea what a Guardian was, but she knew one thing with absolute certainty. The massive alien ships in orbit weren't here for peaceful first contact. They were afraid. Afraid of what humanity might learn from this buried warship. afraid of what humans might become if they understood their true heritage. Above her, the ocean swirled with increasing turbulence as the ancient warship began to rise, its systems reactivating after millions of years of sleep. And in orbit, the alien fleet prepared for a confrontation that would determine whether humanity would remain trapped on their home world or reclaim their forgotten place among the stars. The choice now lay in Sarah's hands: surrender the ship and condemn humanity to isolation, or take a leap into the unknown and discover why these advanced aliens feared the potential sleeping in human DNA. With trembling fingers, she reached for the alien airlock's control panel, its symbols pulsing in response to her touch. Well, she muttered to herself, they always said scientific discovery requires taking risks. The airlock hissed open, revealing corridors that had waited eons for human footsteps to return. As Sarah stepped inside, she couldn't help but smile at the irony. Humanity's greatest discovery hadn't come from reaching to the stars, but from looking into the depths of their own world. Behind her, the alien ships began their descent through Earth's atmosphere, unaware that they were about to learn why disturbing sleeping giants was never wise. The last Earth ship was awake, and with it, humanity's true history was about to unfold. The awakening. The ship's interior defied every expectation Sarah had about alien technology. Instead of the cold, sterile environment she'd imagined, the corridors pulsed with organic light that followed her movements. The walls themselves seemed to breathe, covered in flowing patterns that reminded her of neural networks. "Welcome, Guardian Candidate," a voice echoed through her mind, bypassing her ears entirely. "I am HFY Advanced Reconnaissance Intelligence Assistant. It has been 47,283 standard cycles since my last activation." Sarah stumbled, her suit's boots magnetizing to keep her upright. "You can speak English. I speak through neural interface. Your language patterns are being extracted directly from your thoughts." Araya's presence felt like a warm current in her consciousness. "However, we have more pressing concerns. Hostile Federation vessels will breach atmosphere in approximately 15 minutes. The ship's main bridge materialized around her as walls simply melted away, creating a direct path. Sarah gasped at the sight. A single chair sat in the center of a spherical chamber, surrounded by swirling holographic displays showing Earth's orbit and the approaching Federation fleet. "They're afraid of you," Sarah realized, stepping toward the chair. "Why? What is this ship?" This vessel, designated Starweaver, was the last Guardian-class ship created before the Great Sleep. Araya explained, "When your species chose to begin anew, we were hidden here as an insurance policy, waiting for humanity to rediscover its heritage." Sarah's mind reeled. "Chose to begin anew? Are you saying humans were not originally from Earth?" "Earth was your sanctuary," Araya corrected. "When the ancient humans realized their power as guardians was corrupting them, they chose to erase their advanced technology and civilization. They returned to primitive state, allowing natural evolution to reshape them. You are their descendants, carrying their potential but unburdened by their mistakes." The chair beckoned to Sarah as Federation ships entered visual range, their massive forms blocking out the stars. "And now, what happens if they capture this ship?" "The Federation fears the return of the Guardians. They believe humans are too volatile, too creative, too unpredictable to be trusted with advanced technology. They would rather keep your species isolated on Earth than risk the emergence of new Guardians." Sarah took a deep breath, her decision crystallizing. "Then we don't give them that choice." She sat in the chair. The reaction was immediate. Liquid metal flowed from the chair, enveloping her suit in a secondary layer of armor. Neural interfaces connected directly to her consciousness, and suddenly Sarah could feel the entire ship as if it were an extension of her own body. "Warning," Araya announced. "First-time neural synchronization can be disorienting. Recommended procedure is gradual power increase over several." "We don't have time for gradual," Sarah interrupted, pushing herself to accept the flood of information. Her mind expanded exponentially, connecting with every system on the massive vessel. Pain lanced through her skull, but she gritted her teeth and pushed through it. How do we get this ship out of the ocean? Guardian protocols fully activated. Araya responded, a note of approval in its artificial voice. Initiating emergency surface procedure. The ocean around them began to boil as the Starweaver's ancient engines awakened. Federation ships launched their first salvo of warning shots, plasma bolts designed to disable rather than destroy. They never expected their target to phase shift through the water itself, emerging from the Pacific Ocean like a leviathan from legend. Sarah felt a surge of pride as humans worldwide watched through their screens, seeing humanity's first alien ship rise not from the stars, but from their own oceans. The Starweaver's hull gleamed with impossible light, water streaming from force fields that had protected it for millions of years. Federation vessels are demanding our surrender, Araya reported. They are charging weapons. Sarah allowed herself a small smile as she accessed the ship's defensive systems. The neural interface translated her intentions instantly, requiring no physical input. Let's show them why they were right to be afraid of Guardians. The Starweaver's response systems made Earth's most advanced computers look like pocket calculators. Before the Federation ships could fire, Sarah had already analyzed their shield frequencies, weapons capabilities, and structural weaknesses. But more importantly, she could feel something else through the neural interface, a sense of rightness, of coming home. Multiple Federation vessels locking weapons, Araya warned, detecting energy buildup consistent with mass driver weapons. Good, Sarah replied, feeling the ship's power building around her. Because I think I just figured out how to dance. The battle for Earth's future was about to begin, and humanity's first guardian in millions of years was ready to remind the galaxy why their ancestors had been both respected and feared. The Starweaver hummed with anticipation, its systems singing in harmony with the determination flooding through Sarah's enhanced consciousness. It was time to wake up properly, and the Federation was about to learn that humanity's long sleep had done nothing to dull their edge. Trial by fire. The first shots from the Federation fleet lit up Earth's atmosphere like artificial auroras. Sarah watched through the Starweaver's enhanced sensors as 37 plasma torpedoes screamed toward them, each powerful enough to level a city. Time seemed to slow as the neural interface processed options faster than any human brain could manage alone. They're not actually trying to destroy us, Sarah realized, feeling the patterns in the attack. This is a containment protocol. Correct, Araya confirmed. Federation military doctrine emphasizes capture of Guardian-class vessels. Historical records indicate significant difficulty in neutralizing our kind. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. Let's show them why. The Starweaver moved like liquid light, its ancient hull flowing around the incoming fire rather than simply evading it. Each plasma torpedo passed through space where the ship had been microseconds before, their tracking systems confused by the vessel's quantum displacement drive. To observers on Earth, it looked like an impossible dance between stars. Multiple Federation ships initiating boarding protocols, Araya reported, detecting matter transmission signatures. They want to play rough. Sarah's consciousness expanded through the ship's defense grid. Then let's remember what this ship was built for. The Starweaver's internal defense systems activated as Federation troops materialized in its corridors. What the boarders expected were standard security measures. What they got instead was architecture itself rising against them. Walls flowed like quicksilver, corridors rearranged themselves, and non-lethal containment fields wrapped around the invaders like cocoons. Guardian vessels were designed to be operated by a single pilot, Araya explained as Sarah coordinated the defense. The entire ship is an extension of your will. Your human creativity combined with Guardian technology makes standard tactics ineffective. Sarah felt a surge of pride as she secured the last of the boarding parties. No casualties, just very confused and thoroughly contained Federation troops. They really don't understand humans at all, do they? We've spent our entire history adapting to new situations. It's what we do best. A new transmission cut through the battle noise, this one from the Federation flagship. The alien face that appeared on her visual feed was surprisingly human-like, though its silver skin and geometric pupils marked it as clearly non-terrestrial. Guardian vessel, the Federation commander's voice carried both authority and a hint of desperation. You cannot be allowed to reactivate. The consequences of treating humanity like children end today. Sarah interrupted. We deserve to know our history, to understand what we were and what we can become. You don't understand, the commander pressed. The Guardians nearly destroyed the galaxy in their civil war. Their power was corrupted by choice, not inevitability. Sarah completed, the ship's databases flowing through her mind. Our ancestors chose to start over, to evolve naturally without the burden of their mistakes. We're not them. We're something new. As if to emphasize her point, the Starweaver's systems suddenly pulsed with new energy. Sarah felt something awakening in the ship's core, responding to her defense of humanity's potential. Ancient programs, locked away for millions of years, began activating. Warning, Araya announced, actual emotion coloring its artificial voice. Guardian Omega protocols initiating. Crown of Stars Defense Network detecting human population in danger. Emergency authorization requested. Sarah's neural interface blazed with new information. The Starweaver wasn't just a warship. It was a key designed to unlock humanity's forgotten legacy. Across Earth, buried beneath mountains, deserts, and oceans, ancient Guardian facilities began to power up. By the void, the Federation commander breathed, his sensors detecting the massive power signatures erupting across Earth. You've activated the Crown of Stars. The legends were true. Sarah stood in her control center, the Starweaver's systems humming with power that hadn't been wielded since before humans rediscovered fire. Through her neural link, she could feel the ancient defense network awakening, ready to protect humanity while they rediscovered their heritage at their own pace. Send a message to your Federation, she commanded, her voice carrying the weight of newly awakened authority. Earth is under Guardian protection again, but this time we're doing things differently. We're offering cooperation, not dominance. A chance to help humanity rejoin the galactic community gradually, on terms that respect both our history and our potential. The Federation ships hung in orbit, their weapons still charged but no longer targeting the Starweaver. Sarah could feel their confusion, their fear, and most importantly, their curiosity. Humanity's response to receiving advanced technology wasn't to immediately use it for conquest. It was to offer peace while maintaining strength. Perhaps, the Federation commander said slowly, we have been too hasty in our judgments of your species. Through the neural interface, Araya's presence radiated approval. First contact protocols revised. Initiating diplomatic subroutines. Guardian Chen, how would you like to proceed? Sarah looked at the holographic display of Earth, now surrounded by points of light representing awakened Guardian facilities. Each one contained knowledge, technology, and history waiting to be rediscovered. But unlike their ancestors, modern humans would have the wisdom to learn from the past. We proceed carefully, she answered, feeling the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. And we proceed together. Hidden legacy. The weeks following first contact transformed human civilization. Sarah stood in the Starweaver's observation deck, watching teams of human and Federation scientists working together at a newly uncovered Guardian facility in the Sahara Desert. The massive structure had risen from the sands like a chrome mountain, its systems perfectly preserved after millions of years. Neural activity indicates you are troubled. Guardian Chen. Araya's presence flickered through their now familiar mental link. Is the pace of revelation concerning you? Not the pace, Sarah responded, pressing her hand against the transparent barrier that was harder than steel yet clear as thought. The responsibility. Every facility we activate, every piece of technology we recover, it's changing us. Are we ready? Historical records suggest your ancestors asked the same question, Araya noted, before they chose the Great Sleep. The observation deck shifted, holographic displays materializing to show scenes from humanity's forgotten past. Sarah watched as cities that would make modern metropolises look primitive rose into the clouds. Guardian ships, far more advanced than even the Starweaver, danced between stars with casual grace. They had all this, Sarah whispered, and they chose to give it up. Start over from scratch. Why? Because power without wisdom leads to destruction, a new voice answered. Sarah turned to find Admiral Zextal, the former Federation commander who had tried to stop them, now serving as the official Federation ambassador to Earth. The silver-skinned alien stepped onto the observation deck, his geometric pupils adjusting to the light. Your ancestors were not just powerful, Dr. Chen. They were the galaxy's peacekeepers, explorers, and guardians. But power corrupted even their noblest intentions. You've studied our history more than anyone. Sarah acknowledged. What happened? Sextal's expression shifted, and what Sarah had learned was their equivalent of a sad smile. They began to believe they were gods. Different factions of guardians fought over how best to guide younger species. Their civil war nearly shattered the galaxy. But then, something unprecedented happened. They chose to forget. Sarah finished, the ship's archives filling in the blanks, to reset their entire civilization. More than that, Zextal corrected. They chose to evolve naturally, to let time and challenge reshape them into something new. They believed that earning knowledge was more valuable than inheriting it. Through the window, Sarah watched as human scientists worked alongside Federation experts, carefully studying each piece of recovered technology. Unlike their ancestors, they were taking it slow, understanding each discovery before moving to the next. Guardian Chen, Araya interrupted, detecting anomalous energy signature from the Lunar Guardian facility. Initial analysis suggests awakening protocols. Sarah's heart skipped a beat. The moon base had been one of the largest discoveries, a massive complex built inside Earth's satellite, its purpose still largely mysterious. Define awakening protocols. The holographic displays shifted, showing the lunar surface. A massive structure was emerging from the regolith, its design unlike anything they'd seen in other Guardian facilities. As they watched, it began to pulse with a familiar blue light. By the void, Zextal breathed. It's a cradle. A what? Sarah demanded, feeling the Starweaver's systems responding to her spike of concern. The Guardians built facilities called cradles, repositories of their most advanced knowledge and technology. But they weren't meant to be opened until... He trailed off, staring at the displays with a mixture of awe and concern. Until what? Until their descendants proved they were ready to use power wisely. Araya completed. The cradle is responding to the past 3 weeks of human activity. Your species' response to regaining advanced technology has triggered ancient evaluation protocols. Sarah watched as the lunar facility continued its transformation, her mind racing with implications. You mean we're being tested? The Guardians left criteria for humanity's return to the stars. Not criteria, Zextal corrected. Wisdom markers. Your people rediscovered advanced technology, and your first actions were to establish diplomatic relations, share knowledge, and proceed with caution. You chose cooperation over dominance, peace through strength rather than strength for its own sake. Through her neural link, Sarah felt the Starweaver's systems humming with increased activity. The ship had known about this all along, she realized. It had been watching, evaluating, waiting to see how humanity would handle their reawakening. Araya, she called out, what's inside that cradle? Unknown, the AI responded. That information was segregated even from my databases. However, energy readings suggest technology far beyond current Guardian facilities. The cradle appears to be broadcasting. To whom? Sarah and Zextal asked simultaneously. The answer came as new signals appeared on their sensors. Ships emerging from hyperspace, their designs similar to the Starweaver, but even more advanced. The descendants of those guardians who had chosen to remain among the stars had received the cradle's call. Humanity's test was about to enter its next phase, and Sarah had a feeling passing it would determine not just Earth's future, but the fate of the entire galaxy. The choice. The Guardian ships emerged from hyperspace like stars being born, their hulls shimmering with energy that made the Starweaver look primitive by comparison. 7 vessels, each unique in design but sharing the same underlying aesthetic of flowing metal and living light, arranged themselves in a perfect circle around Earth's moon. "They're beautiful," Sarah whispered, feeling the Starweaver's systems reaching out to recognize its more advanced siblings. Through the neural interface, she could sense technologies that seemed to break the very laws of physics. The Ascended Guardians. Zextal's voice was filled with awe. Those who chose to remain in the stars and continue their evolution. In all my years serving the Federation, I never thought I'd see them in person. A transmission cut through all frequencies, bypassing conventional communications to speak directly into the minds of everyone watching. The voice carried the weight of eons, yet felt surprisingly warm. "Children of Earth," it said, "you have awakened the cradle of remembrance. The time of testing is upon us." Sarah straightened in her control chair, feeling the Starweaver's systems aligning with her determination. "I am Guardian Chen of Earth. We're ready for your test." "Are you?" Another voice joined the first, this one holding ancient amusement. "Your species has barely touched the surface of Guardian technology. Why should you be trusted with what lies within the cradle?" "Because we've learned what our ancestors couldn't," Sarah responded, broadcasting memories of the past weeks through the neural network. She showed them humans working alongside Federation scientists, carefully studying each discovery, choosing understanding over power. "An admirable start," a third voice acknowledged, "but the cradle contains technologies that could reshape reality itself." "The temptation will always be there," Sarah interrupted, "just like it was for our ancestors. But we've had something they didn't: time to grow, to learn, to understand our own nature." Through her neural link, Sarah could feel the ancient guardians analyzing every aspect of human civilization. Their wars and their peace, their destruction and their creation, their failures and their triumphs. "You are still violent," one observed. "Yes," Sarah agreed, "but we've learned to channel that violence into protection, not dominion." "You are chaotic," another noted, "which means we understand the importance of balance," Sarah countered. "You are ambitious," a third added. Sarah smiled. "Show me a species that reached the stars without ambition." The lunar cradle pulsed with increasing energy as the ancient guardians deliberated. Sarah felt something else through the neural network. They were surprised, not by humanity's achievements, but by their awareness of their own flaws. "Tell us, Guardian Chen," the first voice asked, "what would you do with the power in this cradle? How would humanity use technologies that could reshape stars and rewrite the laws of physics?" Sarah's answer came without hesitation. "We would study them, understand them, share that understanding with races who prove ready for it. But most importantly, we would remember why our ancestors chose to start over. Power isn't a right. It's a responsibility." Silence filled the neural network. Then, slowly, the cradle began to open. But instead of revealing weapons or reality-breaking technologies, it projected a single message into the minds of all watching. The final test was never about the technology. It was about understanding why it should sometimes remain unused. The ancient guardian ships began to pulse with light. "Humanity has grown beyond our expectations. You have learned to balance power with wisdom, ambition with restraint. The cradle is both a gift and a warning, a reminder of what you were and what you might become." Sarah felt the Starweaver's systems integrating new information as the cradle shared its true purpose. It wasn't a repository of dangerous technologies. It was a library of guardian history, including their mistakes and their triumphs. The greatest gift they could give their descendants wasn't power, but wisdom. So what happens now? Sarah asked, feeling the weight of history settling around them. Now, the ancient guardians responded in unison. You join us as equals, not because of the power you wield, but because you understand when not to wield it. As the sun rose over Earth's horizon, casting golden light across the assembled ships, Sarah realized that humanity had passed a threshold. They had proven themselves not by demonstrating their strength, but by showing they understood its limits. The Starweaver hummed with renewed purpose as the ancient guardian ships took up escort positions around Earth. Humanity's journey among the stars was just beginning, but this time they carried something more valuable than advanced technology. They carried the wisdom to use it well. Aria, Sarah called out, a smile playing across her lips, set a course for the future. The ancient A's response carried a hint of pride. Course already plotted. Guardian Chen, the stars are waiting. And so humanity took its first true steps into the galactic community, not as conquerors or as children, but as guardians of a legacy they had earned the right to receive. The last Earth ship had awakened not just their past, but their potential to shape a future worthy of both their dreams and their wisdom.